Australia has hosted some truly massive concerts over the years, which range from stadium rock and pop shows to massive festival crowds that transformed parks and raceways into a giant sea of people. This list will cover 10 of the biggest concerts ever held in Australia, where attendance numbers skyrocketed, dreams came true, and memories were made. Whether it was a disgustingly hot day in a dusty park or a tightly packed stadium under the stars, these moments left a mark on Australia's live music legacy. Stay a while as I take you through 10 of the biggest Australian concerts. At number 10, we have Guns N' Roses' performance at Calder Park in Melbourne in 1993 with an approximate attendance of 75,000 people. The attendance numbers for the Melbourne and Sydney shows vary online, with some saying Sydney recorded an attendance of up to 100,000, however, there's no valid source. 75,000 is the most widely reported number. This concert is a bit of an outlier on this list as it was a huge disaster. This event was meant to be one of the biggest rock shows the country had ever seen, supported by Skid Row and Rose Tattoo no less, but what fans got instead was a full-blown endurance test. This concert was especially memorable thanks to a brutal heatwave that turned the raceway into a giant frying pan. With temperatures soaring past 40 degrees Celsius and barely a scrap of shade to be found, the venue rapidly ran out of water due to poor planning. Vendors were overwhelmed, leaving thousands of dehydrated, sunburnt, and desperately seeking medical aid. Things weren't any better outside the fences. Poor transport planning meant the remote track was clogged up with traffic for kilometres, forcing thousands of fans to march in the scorching sun for hours, both before and after the show. Inside the venue, the chaos continued. Winds tore across the open raceway, kicking up thick clouds of dust that reduced visibility to almost nothing. Then, as if the day wasn't already extreme enough, late afternoon brought a sudden clash of thunder, lightning and a massive downpour that soaked the crowd just in time for Guns N' Roses to take the stage. Axl Rose himself couldn't help but comment on the madness, telling the audience he felt like he was playing in an oven. Despite the band delivering a full, explosive set, many fans remembered the day not as a concert but as a survival event. And when the dust and rain finally settled, the car park transformed into a muddy bog, leaving countless vehicles stuck. A concert that won't soon be forgotten. At number 9, we have Billy Joel at the MCG in 2022 with 76,300 people in attendance. Kicking off the night was none other than Tina Arena, whose soaring vocals primed the audience for an evening with music industry royalty. When Billy Joel stepped onto the stage at the MCG, it was special as Joel hadn't played Melbourne in 14 years. The buzz in the air was electric and the energy only built as the night unfolded. Once Billy Joel took to the keys, the MCG transformed into his personal time machine. Joel opened with a matter of trust and took the crowd through decades of hits, from Vienna to My Life, and classics like Uptown Girl and Piano Man. Tens of thousands of fans were singing in unison, soaking up the nostalgia and sharing a special night together. As the show came to a close, it was clear that the night had delivered, with Joel's performance serving as a reminder that even decades into his career, there's a reason why so many Aussies love Billy Joel. At number 8, we have Sound Relief held at the MCG in 2009. Sound Relief was a benefit concert organised in the wake of devastating bushfires in Victoria and flooding in Queensland. The turnout was enormous, with approximately 80,518 people filling the ground, making it one of the largest ticketed concerts in Australia at that point in time. The lineup was pretty respectable too, with international favourites and Aussie icons alike taking to the stage. The bill included Kings of Leon, Coldplay, Jet, Wolfmother, Midnight Oil, Paul Kelly, and Split Enz, to name a few. Some big names giving back for a good cause. Despite rain pouring down for a huge chunk of the show, the crowd didn't budge as they came together to raise money for victims of Mother Nature. Throughout the 10-hour marathon concert, each act brought its own energy. Jet and Gabriella Chilmi took to the stage early on, with later performances by Coldplay and Kings of Leon, finishing with a closing set from Midnight Oil. By the end of the night, not only had the concert smashed attendance records, but it had also raised millions for bushfire relief, an epic night of music and Aussies supporting Aussies. At number 7, we have Eminem at the MCG in 2019. This was a huge event at the time, managing to set a new record for the highest attendance for a single concert at the iconic venue. A massive crowd of 80,708 fans packed into the stadium, narrowly beating the previous record at the venue held by Sound Relief. The impressive turnout highlighted Eminem's loyal fan base in Australia, proving his status as one of the world's greatest rappers. The 5-stadium tour across Australia and New Zealand managed to sell over 300,000 tickets in total. The massive audience was warmed up by a strong lineup of support acts, including longtime friend Royce da 5'9" and Boogie. Headlining the support slots were Hilltop Hoods, who delivered a high-energy set. This combination of support acts set the stage for Eminem's 2-hour performance, which included hits spanning his entire career and ended with the iconic Lose Yourself. At number 6, we have Coldplay at Accor Stadium in Sydney in November 2024, with the biggest night drawing in approximately 85,000 people. This concert was a massive success, setting a new all-time concert attendance record for the venue. Across 4 sold-out nights, Coldplay pulled in a total of 338,776 fans. This staggering figure broke the previous record for the most attended event at the stadium on a single tour, demonstrating the massive demand for the band in Australia. The 4-show run marked their return to Sydney for the first time since 2016, following a similar record-breaking run in Melbourne. At number 5, we have Adele's 2 record-breaking shows at Sydney's ANZ Stadium, back when it was named that, on March 10th and 11th, 2017. The 2-night run was a huge success, setting a new all-time concert attendance record for the venue. These shows were part of her globally successful Adele Live 2017 tour. Attendance was estimated at over 95,000 each night. This made it the largest event held at the Olympic Park venue since the Sydney 2000 Olympics. Adele clearly has an enormous Aussie fan base. The massive turnout was powered in part by her 360-degree in-the-round stage configuration. This configuration allowed seats all around the centre stage, which maximised capacity and gave fans an immersive experience no matter where they were seated. Unlike many major stadium tours, Adele's tour was notable for having no formal support acts listed on the bill. The focus was entirely on Adele. Let me know down in the comments below if you attended any of these concerts so far. At number 4, we have Taylor Swift at the MCG in 2024 with approximately 96,000 people in attendance. Taylor Swift played 3 nights at the MCG from the 16th to the 18th of February for the Eras Tour. Each night drew 96,000 fans approximately, making them the biggest individual show crowds of her career. Across all 3 nights, she drew in a staggering 288,000 people. The support for Taylor came from Sabrina Carpenter, who warmed up the crowd before the main act kicked off. Over a marathon 3.5-hour set, Swift guided the audience through her entire musical journey, from early hits to her latest work. At number 3, we have Ed Sheeran at the MCG on the 2nd of March 2023 with an attendance of approximately 108,000 people. When Sheeran walked onto the stage at the MCG as part of his mathematics tour, he made history, setting a new record for ticketed attendance at the MCG. Opening for Sheeran on both nights were Bujira and Macy Peters. The concert featured a 360-degree circular stage in the middle of the MCG, which rotated throughout the performance, ensuring all attendees had a view. The stage also featured giant guitar pick-shaped screens. Despite the massive production, Sheeran famously performed solo with just his guitar and signature loop pedal. The emotional high point came when Sheeran paid tribute to 2 late Melbourne figures, legendary Aussie music promoter Michael Gudinski and cricket icon Shane Warne, dedicating a song to each of them. At number 2, we have Ed Sheeran again at the MCG, this time the very next night on the 3rd of March, with an attendance of approximately 109,500 people, smashing the previous night's record. The overwhelming success of the Melbourne concerts was a highlight of the mathematics tour. This, in itself, continued a history of record-breaking for Sheeran. He previously broke Dire Straits' long-standing record for the highest-selling tour in Australia and New Zealand history during his 2018 Divide tour. At number 1, we have the Seekers' homecoming concert at the Sydney Myer Music Bowl on the 12th of March 1967. This one takes the cake for biggest Aussie concert by a wide margin. Following the Seekers' massive international success with hits such as Georgie Girl and The Carnival Is Over, the group returned to Melbourne for a free outdoor show, which was held during the annual Moomba Festival. The attendance was truly groundbreaking, with estimates at over 200,000 people in attendance. People spilled out of the overcapacity venue and into the parklands. The concert was recorded in Guinness Book of World Records as the biggest attendance at a concert in the Southern Hemisphere at the time. The Seekers performed their 20-minute set with the support of the Melbourne Symphony Orchestra. The orchestra was conducted by Hector Crawford, which added a unique spin to their folk pop songs. Footage of the groundbreaking performance was later included into their TV special, The Seekers Down Under. The special also drew a record-breaking audience of more than 6 million people on the 7 network. The success of the concert was a major reason why the group was jointly named Australians of the Year in 1968. So there you have it, 10 of the biggest Australian concerts, many of which were held at the MCG and headlined by international pop stars. Let me know what you think of the list down below in the comments, including any that I might have missed. If there's enough interest, I'll do another. Thanks for watching.